COVID has taught a lot of us a lot of things, and many people have come to the realization they really don't like their jobs. And it's not just not liking their job. What they really don't like is everything that goes with it, the long commute, also realizing how much time they're spending away from their families. In addition, they actually were spending a lot of their money, again, sitting in cars. Look at the amount of money they were spending on daycare. And so people have decided, you know what, I'm good. So while companies are saying, we need you to return to the office, an increasing number of Americans are saying, I'll pass. That's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and quit, which is causing many companies to now figure out how they're going to replace these employees. Joining us right now is Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach. Deborah, glad to have you on the show. This is something that, and I was telling folks this last year. I said, COVID is about to reveal a whole lot of stuff about this country. We learned people really understood the racial dynamics when it comes to health and who gets impacted. We begin to understand how many kids did not have broadband and computers and were not as sophisticated, if you will, with technology, and how there was a gap there between the haves and the have-nots. But on the work front, a lot of people really have started to reconsider their work life and its impact on their personal life.
Absolutely, Roland. Of course, always glad to be back and have some conversations on wealth and the welfare of our community. And I'll tell you, there are really like three forces, right? It's generational, it's social, it's the social contract. And, for many people, they just simply, as you said, want to spend more time with their family. I think, if anything, COVID has been an awakening for all of us, and just in terms of what we value. And if you think about the folks who've been on the front line, it's really those essential workers who, what we saw was some of us were able to stay home and work virtually, whereas others who were essential had to put their lives at risk. And so I think, as you pointed out, COVID revealed a lot of inequalities, really, in just the social framework of this country. And in a way, it has put the power back into people's hands. So for employers, it's opening up Pandora's box. So much of what they said about virtual workforce and what could and couldn't happen, what we see is people have been just as productive, and in fact, they haven't been in cars commuting, so they're spending more time with their families. And what we're seeing in the Wealthy U community is that some people, because they can work virtually, they have multiple sources of income, and in some cases, two full-time jobs, because they have the flexibility. So, Roland, I think that COVID has really empowered people to say, hey, I'm going to take control of my life and my lifestyle.
I was having a debate with someone on this whole issue of unemployment benefits and COVID, and this person had said that, these lazy ass folks need to go to work. And I said, stop. I said, do not call them lazy. And the reason I said don't call them lazy is because I said the problem is not that they're lazy. The problem is that if you're making more money on unemployment and you're making on the job, it's a problem with the damn job.
Well, not only the job, but if you think about the minimum wage and the fact that it has not kept up with inflation, it specifically when you look at hospitality, any industry where people are being paid in tips, it really revealed the fragility of their circumstance, right? So, if I'm bringing home a couple of $1,000s in tips, and now I'm no longer working, and so I'm not getting that, and my income is so low, what it is showing is that to these industries is that they have got to be able to pay people a living wage through which they can afford to take care of their families and also, have the type of benefits so that with the type of health concerns everyone has, that they feel valued. Otherwise, they are going to look for opportunities elsewhere. And how could we blame them?
Also, I think, before I go to my panel with questions for you, also, I think a lot of people, how should I put this here? It's very interesting to me, the people who, even with businesses, are somewhat timid of being aggressive in asking for support. Here's what I mean. I had a conversation today with an entrepreneur who said, look, I got to create more revenue. And as we were talking about, the business that he has, I said, why are you not asking your customers, your fan base, to give more to your product? And I said, but it's how you do it. What platforms are you on? Are we on Patreon? I'm like, no, you need to be on Patreon and Cash App and PayPal and Venmo and Zelle. I said, it's not about how you are comfortable. It's about what the customer wants. I then begin to break down, okay, what are your expenses? Your expenses are this a month. That means that you need X number of people giving this to cover your expenses. You should be tracking that on a weekly and a daily basis. And it was like a light bulb went off, and it was like, I wasn't even, thinking that way. Last year was a brother who was a DJ. We were talking, and he said, man, I'm kind of, I'm leery about, put my Cash App out there. I said, I'm sorry, you're a DJ. There are no parties. You're not working. I said, but you're on Instagram. Basically, you're providing pleasure to people. You're making them feel good. I said, you're not demanding they give to you. Just just pin your Cash App. I said, we're now living in a world where consumers have no problem $1, $5, $10, $20, $50, $100. I said, you're not begging. Now, I think that's part of the problem, Deborah. A lot of people think, oh my God, that's begging. No, it's not. It's business. And so again, it's a different state of mind.
Yeah, Roland, I think what you brought up too is that this is the social sharing community that we're in. And if you look at crowdfunding, I mean, when we were building an app, I raised $30,000 really from friends and strangers who were just aligned to what the mission of the app was. And so I think for business owners in particular, what we've all had to do is really pivot in this economy and really think about what are the ways that we can deliver our services. Typically a lot of our revenue came from doing live events. Well, we had a live event planned in April when COVID hit, and so we pivoted virtually. And so what I would say to small business owners, self-employed people, what contractors, really begin to think about what are the ways that you can create, possibilities and all this volatility that we're having. Because I was listening to your last interview, and clearly we are headed for another, I won't say full shutdown, but things are not going back to normal. So what is important is that people remain as flexible as possible and as innovative as possible.
Well, I just think that what has happened is it has forced people to actually look at their life and their world in a much different way, and then begin to make some different choices. Any questions from the panel? Kelly, anything for Deborah?
Hi, Deborah. Just really quickly, regarding how things are shifting, especially in the job market, and what people are actually asking for up front is like, will you have a work from home option? Is there a hybrid model in your work style? What I'm finding is that there are some industries out there that are desperately needed, such as social work, some type of public health care, administrative roles in that regard, that need to have an office setting, because a case, rather, someone who needs a social worker can't come to your house. And it's hard to do something virtually when the main reason they need a caseworker in the first place is because of lack of internet services or what have you. So I guess my question is, and I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what do you think about that kind of dynamic? Meaning, do you think that will cause another chasm in the classes and in job descriptions in general? Meaning, will people be making less money if they do in-person jobs now, because it's almost a luxury to work from home?
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up, because the truth is, if you look at those kinds of roles, social work, administrations, those are basically occupations in which Black women specifically over-index in. And
Yes.
so, and you find that their wages aren't as competitive. So, although typically if they're working for a government or a local government, a federal government agency, the upside is that typically they have benefits, pension benefits and that sort of thing. So they're giving up higher salaries for what could be seen as some long-term reward. But to your point, I do think you're already seeing people exit those occupations because of now with the sort of risking their health that all of this entails. You're seeing nursing. You're seeing a lot of these. You're seeing a lot of exit from those roles. Specifically. So I think on the other side of that, the employers are going to have to be creative in order to retain workers in those different occupations. So you bring up a very good point.
Mustafa.
Deborah, it's good to see you. I love that color you got on.
Good to see you again. Matching that tie.
Yes, ma'am. In my family and in my circle of friends, from elders all the way down to teenagers, folks are getting much more engaged in investing and saying that I can actually make more money investing than I can in some of the previous jobs that I had. So have you seen that as also an area that's growing? And do you expect that it will continue to expand?
Well, what's exciting, I'm glad you bring that up. What's exciting is what these statistics are showing is that particularly millennials and younger Black folks are more involved in investing than ever before. They're learning how to invest because of the plethora of apps that we have available to us. Now, Cash App allows you to invest not only in stocks, but also in crypto. You have other apps like Stash. You see Robinhood just went public. And, a lot of the whole premise of Robinhood was for, the not wealthy to kind of gain in riches. So I think that is part of what is driving the interest and accessibility of investing. Now, in terms of actually, using investing for, to make an income, I think there's a difference between trading and investing. And I think that, we just hit another market high today. And so as a result of that, what happens is people begin to think that it's easy. But, what I would say to anyone listening is to really get a basic foundation in how the investment markets work and how to invest it, if you will. You give me a great opportunity to just talk about some of the work that we're seeing in the Wealthy You community. And by the way, if anyone listening to me would like to learn more, they can go to wealthyu.com. But what we're seeing in our community is that people's portfolios in some cases have doubled the kinds of returns. Just in the past year, we're seeing some of the members in our community, their portfolios are up 49%. We do see that it's not just in their retirement accounts either. People are also opening up not only the apps, but full-fledged brokerage accounts and really learning how to build portfolios. So I say it's a win-win-win overall. Win-win-win, seeing young people get involved in the markets, and also, the people in our wealthy youth community, our youngest member is, if I'm not mistaken, 23, and our oldest is maybe 79. So it's intergenerational, if you will, and it's a good thing, because I believe that's one of the reasons the wealth gap is so big, is because of the fact that not enough Black and brown folks are investing.
Robert.
Hi, Deborah. I work in the traditional education workspace, the traditional higher education market, and traditional higher education, of course, used to mean that we were standing in a classroom with a bunch of students. Then over the last year, we were forced to go online. Basically, a lot of faculty against their will, because the state basically shut us down and said you can't have students in the classroom. So now we're back to, at least for now, for the time being, we're back to the traditional model again. We do have college students in the classrooms again. But do you think, my question is, do you think as we move toward the future, the marketplace might be moving toward more of a hybrid model where you can switch traditional in-person, online, hybrid, easily in between? We're kind of struggling with that right now, especially, again, those people that work at very traditional universities, like mine. How do you see that the whole marketplace within online education working out?
Well, I do believe that particularly higher education has been toying with this hybrid model for years. I know that I built a curriculum for a university in Massachusetts about a decade ago, and that was all done, even though I proctored the first class, it was all done virtually. And I mean, if you think about you think about your traditional student coming out of high school, but I would submit to you, I don't know what the actual stats are, that a significant amount of the students in many college campuses are older employees retooling their skills. And in fact, think you'll see that trend continuing because I believe that AARP has done some studies just on what employees need to do to keep their skill set up to date, and it's really enhancing and updating their skill set, understanding not only technology, but I mean, I think you would agree that someone like me who got an MBA more than 10 years ago, that a lot of that information is obsolete. And so in order to just keep up with supply and demand, I see that hybrid modeling continuing. I do believe that, as a parent of two millennials, that college in-person experience is valuable. However, what I do believe the virtual experience will do is make college more accessible and hopefully less expensive for those who do not have the necessary incomes to afford it. So I believe it's my long way of saying that the trends certainly are all pointing towards a hybrid environment simply for universities because of all the bricks and mortars that you have to be able to continue to afford those facilities.
All right. Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach. Tell folks where they can find you.
They can come to wealthyu.com. And by the way, we have an amazing masterclass going on this Saturday all day. So just go to the wealthyu.com website and you can learn all about how we're helping people build their first investment portfolios to 7 figures and beyond.
All right, Deborah Owens, we surely appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Roland.
Folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Yo, this is Ziggy Marley. Catch my live performance on Seek.
Bon Jovi, and you're watching us on Seek. What's going on? This Quavo Huncho, because right now you in the Huncho's world.
Please let the music play.
Of course, a couple of the products from the folks at Seek. They have their, of course, their great headsets. Their 360-degree audio sound. You can see the. This is, of course, the box right here. You can get the headphones in black and gold. Mustafa, that's a great color, of course. Us alphas, we love that. And they also have the headset in all gold. And so, again, you can get this. This is a black-owned company. Mary Spio is the founder of the product. They also have, of course, their virtual headset. And so, let me grab that right here. This is their VR headset where you can actually place your phone inside of the headset, and you can check out their virtual reality content at Seek.com. Use the promo code RMVIP21, RMVIP21. The proceeds of what you purchase comes back to support Roland Martin Unfiltered. Y'all know what we do on this show. We support black-owned businesses, and that's what we are about. So go to Seek.com, use the promo code RMVIP21.